ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday, and here in the UK it is hotting up again, and it was hotting up before. We've already had a heat wave, and I'm actually losing track of how many heat waves we have had. We're either on number 2 or number 3. It might be that this is the second official heat wave, and maybe the one in between wasn't too bad. But we are going to be going through it again. Today has been maybe 31, 32 degrees Celsius. And then they say tomorrow is going to be 35 degrees Celsius. So yeah, we have got the air conditioning on, and it's getting to the point now where it's no longer, absolutely no longer going to be hoodie weather. You can't get away with wearing one of those now. It's definitely air conditioning time. So anyway, with the weather done, hello. Thank you for joining me tonight. I can see you guys in the live chat room. And oh, by the way, we're not on the laptop. I should have maybe tested you guys to see if you could tell that it was an official background or not an official background, but I guess the lighting kind of gives it away. We are having the live stream tonight through the Mac Studio rather than the MacBook Pro, but we have the MacBook Pro plugged in for the Fill Jam if we have one of those later, because let me get that up on screen immediately to see what the goal is going to be tonight. I set it at 320 because I couldn't remember what we did last time. So 320 is what we're aiming for, and we will have Fill Jam number that I almost said Fill Jam number, which is swapping around the A and the U. I don't know how my brain does that so quickly. If I wanted to try and swap the letters around in words, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's just something that happens naturally. So anyway, for Fill Jam number 336, we need 320 likes. So if you could hit the thumbs up as you come through the room, or through the live chat room. I mean, I guess I'm just calling it a room now because that's how I see it with all you guys in there. But let me give you a shout out. We have PM1123 in there. We have Ro, we have Bernadine, Howard, Rose, Billy, Heather, Angela, Bob, Melody Rocks, Teresa, and Alison in there as well. Hello, thank you for joining me tonight. So, watchers of the World Cup will know that tonight there is a game on. There's a game happening, I think, still as I speak, because it's between Colombia and Switzerland, and when I left it, it was 0-0. I believe it's still that. So they might be going into extra time, and I'm recording it rather than watching it and not actually doing a live stream, because we haven't had many live streams recently because of the World Cup and the fact that the England games have been falling on a Tuesday or a Saturday. Now, on when was it? Sunday night, England had their last 16 match. So now it's getting down to just having, last 16? So 16 teams in the competition. And it started out with lots and lots and lots of teams. So England are doing quite well. And thankfully, they won their match. So it means now they're in the quarter-finals of the World Cup, which is the biggest football competition you can get. So it's pretty good that England have managed to get through to the next round. And guess when? Take a wild guess as to when their match is scheduled for. It's going to be Saturday night. So again, we've got a clash on Saturday night. So I won't be live streaming on Saturday. There you go. I think it's just destiny that these things are going to be clashing, either a Tuesday or a Saturday. They must know my schedule and know that I want to watch the England games. So yeah, they've managed to put that time, or put the matches exactly when the live stream time is. But never fear, we'll be back next Tuesday, and depending on how England do, who knows? I'll have to check the schedule to see if the next round is on a Tuesday or a Saturday. But fingers crossed that they do actually get through, because we haven't won the World Cup since 1966, which was ages ago. So it would be good if England can get through. And they managed to get through the last round. It was against Mexico, which they're one of the co-hosts, and they're playing in Mexico City, I believe. So it meant that the support was just hugely for Mexico. And we scored, and then we scored again, which was unbelievable. And then they scored 2-1. Then did we score again to make it 3-1? But I think when it was 2-1, what happens with England is something stupid always happens, and it's usually a red card. We've had that in the past with David Beckham, who got a red card against Argentina, and then we went out in that game. And then we had Wayne Rooney, who got a red card, and then we went out in that game. And this has all happened in the World Cup. So I was thinking at 2-1 in the lead, just nobody do anything stupid and get a red card. And guess what happened? We got a red card. One of our players got sent off. And it's quite early in the second half. But we managed to score again with 10 men, and then they scored, so it's now 3-2, and they were holding on till the end. But amazingly, even with 10 players, we still managed to win. So hopefully, and then because we were celebrating too much, or we were celebrating a lot, get this, one of our players was celebrating so much that he managed to break his wrist. So now he's out of the World Cup. So it wasn't that he did it on the pitch or even did it during the game. He managed to do it after the game, trying to jump over the advertising boards. So that's pretty much England in a nutshell, that kind of thing happens. But I mean, he's not a regular player. He's one of the backup players and very much there, I think, as part of the team for morale, because he's had a lot of experience, and his name's Jordan Henderson. He used to play for Liverpool, but yeah, unfortunately, he had a bit of a freak accident. I haven't seen the footage myself, but what I will say is that if you're trying to jump over advertising boards and you injure yourself, it's not really a freak accident, because you were trying to do something that's not really anything to do with football. I think these are the things, that I analyse everything, and that goes for my whole life, really. I analyse every situation. And before, with England, when we scored a goal in a big match, it might have been the World Cup or the European Championships, the assistant coach broke his ankle because of jumping up and jumping on top of the manager and then falling awkwardly. So we've already got a track history of getting injured when celebrating. So I would say, if we do score, if we do go through, everyone be careful celebrating, because we've got a history of getting injuries, even to the backroom staff, when getting excited. So that's one thing that I'd say. The other thing that I would say is, about getting a red card. Just don't do anything that's going to cause a red card. Don't dive recklessly into a tackle, because that's pretty much what happened. The other thing that I will say, and this goes for pretty much every team and every match, when you start a match, the amount of injuries that happen in the first 30 seconds or minute of a game, I think is significantly higher, because of all the adrenaline and everyone waiting to get into the match. You have so many head clashes, so many awkward falls and challenges, and challenges that could be a yellow card, but the referee tends not to give them at the beginning of the game unless it's England. And Rice, one of our players, got a yellow card within 30 seconds or a minute because the referee just decided to do that, and it might not have even been a yellow card. But anyway, getting into the point that I'm making here is, I would say to my players, look, we want to finish the game, or at least play the game with our best players, so let's not get injured in the first 30 seconds or a minute, because everyone goes a bit crazy. But anyway, it means that no live stream on Saturday. That's something to take from this, and I am recording the football, so if you could not tell me what's going on, that would be good, because then I can just dive into it later on and watch it from now onwards, or 11 when I started live streaming. So I will see what happens later on. But it's great that England are playing Norway, and long-time viewers of the channel will know that my name is spelt the way it is because of having a Norwegian family and Norwegian heritage in my family. So it means that when Norway are playing England, I'm still supporting England, but it's not an absolute nightmare if Norway go through as well. So, but very much hoping that England can do it and can go through. So now, I know that people have been saying, how long does the World Cup go on for? And it really it depends on how far England get as to when the live streams clash with them. But with the World Cup, it's now at the quarter final stage, so I think maximum of another week potentially. So we should be back to normal order soon. Right. Oh, there's other I have to get everything up on screen, such as the names of my patrons. They make this all possible in the first place. So a massive thank you to these people, the foundation of everything that I do, as I always say on the Wings of Pegasus channel. You can also become a patron of Authentic Vocal. That's my side project that I'm doing, that I've managed over the last few weeks to add a few more performances over on that Authentic Vocal Patreon page, but also on the YouTube channel, which is at Official Authentic Vocal. But yeah, I did receive an email earlier where somebody was asking if on Authentic Vocal or my Wings of Pegasus page or email, whether there was, I can't remember what they referred to it as, but an amount of donation money that means you will get your video analyzed. But this is where I bring up on screen the donations tab, because you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. And for those that do donate, during the live streams, or just in general, it is massively appreciated, but it's not a necessity for anything. So the reason that I bring it on screen now is because with Authentic Vocal and with my Wings of Pegasus channel, it's not a case of setting a bar at a particular amount, monetary amount, and saying, right, if you give me, I don't know, I feel like it's holding an audience to ransom. You say, if you give me that, then I will do what you ask. That's not the way that I roll. So you don't have to donate. And with the videos that I do here and the Authentic Vocal videos as well, the collaboration with BBC Introducing, those videos come straight from BBC Introducing and in Sussex and Surrey, and those have been the last 3 that we've looked at, and it's great to be working with them. But I will also be featuring other bands and artists. So talking about BBC and TV here in the UK, I'm going to be getting into this massive thing that's kicked off with the government here in the UK and YouTube, which is just totally crazy. But I will address it in a minute, because I don't really talk about politics on my channel, or I try to avoid it as much as possible in the live streams. But this could potentially directly affect my channel and people seeing my videos. So I will get into that in a second. But you don't have to donate, and that goes for everything on the Authentic Vocal channel as well. And with Authentic Vocal, I wanted to run that in exactly the same way that I run this channel, in that you can support it if you want to, and that's over on Patreon, patreon.com/Authentic Vocal. And you can go and become a patron of Authentic Vocal and just authentic performances, because that's very much the only thing that's going to be featured over there. And as I say in some of the videos here, no AI and no lip syncing or miming and post-pitch correcting performances using auto-tune live. It's just going to be genuinely live or authentic performances. So you can head over there, and in order to support that, I've set it at the lowest limit that is possible, which I think is around between $3 and $5, something like that. So you can support that movement if you want to. It's very much something that goes hand in hand with what I do here on the Wings of Pegasus channel. As you all know, we sometimes have the videos from Authentic Vocal that are then uploaded to this channel, so you can check them out as well. But right, we will get into the donations first of all over on PayPal, because there was a donation from Chuck for £2. So thank you for that, Chuck. And I think there's another one that came through. This was a donation of £100. So a very kind donation. So thank you for this. It's from Martin. And if you accidentally make too much of a donation, which is easily done, I can reverse the donation on PayPal. It's a very straightforward process. So just send me a message and we will be able to sort that out. On YouTube, unfortunately, it's not so simple, because as you'll see, between 45 and 60% is taken by YouTube. So through PayPal, it's between 3 and 5%, and PayPal is a lot easier for me to just kind of return or what's the word that I'm looking for? Not return or exchange, but it's still not the word, but refund. I can swap the direction of the money. I don't know why I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of, but it's very simple. Just to reverse. There you go. To reverse the donation, I can just click on a button and it gets sent back. But with YouTube, yeah, they take the money instantly and they say that's the way it works. So if you accidentally make a donation in the super chat window, there's not a lot I can do about it, and I don't get the donation until the next month and the 24th of the next month. So yeah, it's a bit complicated, and yeah, a lot more difficult to sort that out. If somebody does accidentally donate a ridiculous amount, up to 60% of that donation just disappears, and then you have to try and get the other 40% back, which I will be able to do, but it will take another potentially 4 weeks for me to get it and then for me to organize sending it back. So yeah, that is unfortunately the problem with YouTube. But the other problem with YouTube we will get into. I'll just quickly get through the donations over on PayPal as well, because there was another donation that came through from Connie, and this has only just come through, and it's a donation of £20. So thank you for that. And the message is, I was wondering what you think about the FIFA football having connected ball technology. Thanks, Connie. So thank you for that. And I think this might refer to having a microchip in the ball. So in other World Cups, they haven't had that. But in this World Cup, it means that for particular decisions, and I can't remember the game, but sometimes a player touching the ball has an impact on the decision that is then given. And when there's only a slight touch of the ball, it's very difficult to tell. But they've now got a chip inside the ball so that it can sense contact. And that's what they use for a decision where, certainly in the UK, the commentators were saying, oh, he didn't touch the ball. There's no way that you can prove that he touched the ball. But then they showed something on screen that showed an audio wave, meaning that there was a sound that the microchip picked up at the point of contact when it kind of brushed somebody's head. And yeah, I mean, I'm all for that because I do enjoy analysis and just having facts. And there are so many things in football that, I don't know, so inconsistent because the referees don't know how to referee and they don't know what a fact is. And they apply their own opinion of the situation that's happened. But when you look at a situation, there are factual elements about something that's happened that mean that the decision can only be one thing. But then when a referee and the video assistant referee adds their opinion to it, it's now no longer relying on facts, and that's why so many decisions are incorrect, such as earlier Argentina. They were playing against Egypt, and Egypt scored a goal that was disallowed for a particular foul or infringement that happened before they scored a goal. And then Argentina scored a goal and the exact same infringement happened, but that goal was allowed. So, of course, Egypt went crazy and everyone was getting yellow cards. Somebody got a red card of all the staff, because quite rightly, they were saying it's exactly the same infringement that you allowed for Argentina that you didn't allow for Egypt. And the stupid thing is that you've got VAR. The video assistant referee should be looking at the footage and seeing it's exactly the same thing that's happened twice. So I don't know how you can then decide that they are different decisions, because that's what VAR is supposed to be there for. But the point is that the referees are applying their opinion of a situation, and that happens all the time in refereeing, whereas the rules are really clear. And once you've given a decision for a particular infringement, you have got to give it again. You can't then decide, oh, well, no, actually, we're not going to give it for that thing that's exactly the same. So yeah, very much a shame for Egypt, because they would have been a massive upset to beat Argentina, but sadly the rules weren't applied in the same way. Anyway, now getting to YouTube, so here we go. Let me just bring on screen, by the way, the likeometer. We haven't had a look at that yet. 201 likes so far. Thank you everyone for hitting the thumbs up, meaning we are looking for 119 more people to hit the thumbs up to then bust out the guitar and have a fill jam. So if you could do that, that would be very much appreciated. And we'll do that, yeah, at the end of the live stream. But here we go, getting into... Before starting actually this whole YouTube UK government thing, let's get rid of the likeometer so that we can jump into the super chat window, because Paul donated $5.32. Thank you for that. And this is in relation to the subscriber count, because Paul says, here we grow again, 532,000 subscribers. Awesome. Spike the likes, all y'all. Peace, love, and rock. So thank you for that. And we will get, if I can find it, where has this disappeared to? There it is. The subscriber count, which, yeah, it is amazing, that number, 532,000. Thank you guys for subscribing and, you know, hitting the thumbs up and leaving your comments. And yeah, we'll keep on pushing forward and see where we end up. But yeah, it is great to have you guys here, and especially tuning in for the live streams. It is very much appreciated. So now let's get into this. The UK have said to YouTube that they want to have control, or they want YouTube to control which videos are recommended and are, I guess, favoured by YouTube. So what we've got at the moment, it's the same as every other country here in the UK currently on YouTube, meaning that whatever you want to watch on YouTube, you are free to watch. And YouTube will promote particular videos. Let's say, for example, that you watch one of my analysis videos and you might like it, you might subscribe. So it means that YouTube now suggests another one of my analysis videos for you to watch. And that's the way that it works. So that's how channels get discovered, because somebody might be watching, you know, another analysis or a performance, or there might be another channel talking about something very similar to what I might have spoken about in a previous video. So then YouTube thinks that, oh, well, that person who's watching that particular video might like watching this other video. And that's why I know that a lot of people comment on my channel talking about other channels such as Rick Beato and say, oh, Rick has mentioned this on his channel. And it's because similar music channels then get suggested to users that watch those kinds of channels, and that's called discoverability, and it's a huge thing on YouTube. And that's how the algorithm works. It tries to find out what you're into, and then it will suggest you content based on that. So here's where it gets a bit crazy. At the moment, my videos will get potentially suggested to other users in the UK who watch similar kinds of videos. But the UK government has now said, we don't like that channels on YouTube that aren't the main TV channels in the UK. So we're talking about the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5. So those 5 channels, the UK government, they've said, we don't like the fact that other videos are more popular and are watched more than the videos that the main TV channels produce. And yeah, there's got to be something in the government where, you know, the main TV channels obviously scratch the back of the government, so it's a kind of two-way street in terms of how much, you know, they are involved and make money from mainstream media. But it means that, I mean, they know how much money goes through YouTube, how much money YouTube makes, and they might be jealous of not particularly my channel, but channels in the UK that have multiple millions of subscribers, and they know how much money those content creators might be making. So the UK government says, well, we don't like that. We don't like that just a creator can be more popular than one of the channels. But more importantly, they're saying that we don't want people in the UK to get exposed, I guess, to independent creators just as much as, the TV channels. Because the TV channels, they have news channels, which means they can put out a particular story and people could see that story, but they might not see that story. If they get their news from YouTube, for example, like independent reporting, then I don't know, the government is starting to get really over conscious or self-conscious of what the public are seeing. So it means that they don't want people to, I don't think it's necessarily I was going to say, I don't think it's necessarily my channel. As you guys know, with Authentic Vocal, and I'm totally independent, by the way, so working with Authentic Vocal and BBC introducing, it means that I can make sure that everything that I'm featuring is absolutely as it is stated, because I'm independent and I will absolutely check everything. I'll do all the tests that I normally do, all of the pitch monitor testing that I do on live performances, which means that I can take a performance that I'm given and say whether it is authentic or not. And if it is, I will feature it on my channel and on the Authentic Vocal channel. Now, where this gets a little bit more complicated is that the BBC have, and the government, I think specifically the digital media, the person that's in charge of that for the government in the UK, he has stated that the reason that they want to take these steps and potentially make it the law that people in the UK can't see independent YouTube channels or get suggested any content by creators that are not the BBC, BBC 2, ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5. They want to make, I guess, or create a monopoly for the mainstream media. So it means that the only thing you get shown is that. And the reason for that is because of misinformation. That's what the representative has stated, that the government official has stated, that there's so much misinformation out there that we want the news, especially, to be reported to the UK public on YouTube to be from a reputable source. Now, where this gets complicated is, if you're stating that all of the channels, the 5 channels in the UK, are a reputable source, I, on my channel, have already shown that the BBC, in one of their performances that they labelled and promoted as live, wasn't live. It was pre-recorded, it was lip-synced, it was mimed. And that's the problem, that the government are saying we don't want people to be misinformed, so they have to trust what we put out there on YouTube, and you're only going to have that as your reference point. What happens when the mainstream media are not actually spreading misinformation, which is just, it just so happens that I can point to a time that has happened where I have been able to prove objectively, factually, that what they're saying isn't true. What was interesting about that is the production company then later on, when it was reported, they came out and they admitted that it wasn't live. So it means that the BBC, they then came out and made a statement saying that, they didn't realise it wasn't live. So when they reported it as that, again, this is even worse, because you reported something as being live when you haven't even checked it. So the BBC should have checked before you release something that you don't, if you don't know it's fully live, don't say it's that. So that's the problem that you've got. And this is the whole issue with the government wanting to only have mainstream media featured on YouTube, and creators such as myself not to have a say or not to get suggested or be discoverable in the UK. Again, that's the problem, that in that particular case, I was the one telling the truth, but the mainstream media weren't the ones telling the truth. But in the future, it might be the case that they are the only ones that are sending out the information. And for me, that's a really dangerous game to play, because if even I can prove something that then forces them to come out and say, oh no, that guy was right, we didn't check it. You think, well, that's not a very good look if you're now the government relying on the people that were wrong. In that case, you'd say, well, the government should be they should be promoting my channel because I've been proven correct against the mainstream media, and that's happened multiple times on my channel. So yeah, there's an argument to say, well, no, it should go the other way, that the independent covering of whatever it might be, if they're presenting objective proof that can be cross-referenced and checked and it is correct, then they should be the ones that are now featured. And I know, we're not going to get political about it, but I know a lot of people have beliefs that the reason for that is because the mainstream media will be connected to the government, and the government want to push a particular agenda, so that it's never really about what is objectively true, it's about what wants to be pushed. And yeah, for me, that's a really dangerous route to go down. But yeah, YouTube are reaching out to creators in the UK so that hopefully we can stop this from becoming law, so that people over in the USA and other countries will still see my videos and see things suggested, and I don't think it will change for them, but certainly people here in the UK, if you are subscribed, it might be the case that in the future everything of mine and other content creators in the UK disappears, and all you can see are videos from the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5. And yeah, as for whether that's going to be objective reporting and, like saying things being live and not, this is why my Authentic Vocal project, it seems like, day on day, week on week, the whole Authentic Vocal thing is becoming more and more important for the future. Because if we're now relying on videos, people watching in the UK, if you want to watch a live performance, I've already proven that the mainstream media won't tell you, or they'll tell you incorrectly something's live when actually it wasn't. That means that Authentic Vocal, again, is going to be the only place that you can find in the UK, a genuine live performance that has been cross-checked and has been tested to make sure it is fully live. So yeah, again, another shout out for my @official Authentic Vocal YouTube channel. It would be great, I know that we're really swimming against the tide with it, but it'll be great if we can push that out there more, so that more people know that if in the UK now you can no longer rely on factual information about what is live and what isn't. People need to know about that, but they won't get it suggested here in the UK. And I think just generally it's not something that the record labels certainly want to push out there. They want people to be into the performances that are not live and have been post-pitch corrected, because it makes their artists look a particular way compared to then other artists that are genuinely doing it live but don't have that, I was going to say safety net, but it's not even that. They haven't had all of their performances corrected, and that particular off-key performance they might have done is deleted, and you'll only ever see the one that has been corrected. So the live performance, when people go along and they say, oh, that sounded really off key when I was at the live performance, but now watching the actual official release, it sounds perfect. But it's because it's post-edited. And yeah, it might be the case in the future. Yeah, a lot of the performances are like that now. But yeah, I think the people that are genuinely doing it live and aren't post-editing things, and they deserve a little bit of credit for doing that, and I think those performances have to be seen as totally different performances. But anyway, we will jump into the super chat window. I'll keep you guys in the loop about things in the UK and what's going to be happening on YouTube as and when I hear about them. But I think thankfully, with the amount of subscribers we've got so far, we have managed to make a difference with the channel, and I've said that in previous videos, where we are getting particular channels, and particular videos removed from YouTube, because it puts a bit of a spotlight, especially when a video gets out there and has maybe hundreds of thousands of views or millions of views. YouTube tends to kind of focus in on that, especially, by the way, the the copyright owners of particular songs and things that are happening that are illegal that I point out. And then that was with the last video that I did, and this happens quite a lot, that I did a video on a Teddy Swims. I mean, his live vocal was being auto-tuned, and the link and the video that I was featuring, that got removed maybe within 24 hours of my video. So now people couldn't go and watch that performance and see the auto-tune performance. The only place that original video now exists is in my video. And that happens a lot. It's a bit of a weird thing that happens, is that a video gets released and then I do a video on it, and then that original video now disappears. So that happens for one of two reasons. First of all, it was a breach of copyright, and the person that uploaded it didn't have the rights to do that in the first place. But then the second reason is that the copyright owner and the record label, and maybe even the event that owns the rights to the footage, they don't want people to know that their festival or their live performances were auto-tuned. And that's sadly the case in a lot of situations, that people, when they go to a festival, they assume it's going to be live. But guess what? It's not. I say it's not. There are some festivals that do have live performances, but to my knowledge, and this is another thing, another project for me in the future, which will probably be an authentic vocal thing, there isn't a single festival in the UK that has been verified from an independent body so that people attending that festival know that it's going to be live. And this is certainly a reason for a company or an organization to remove a video if people are turning up thinking it's going to be a live performance at a festival, but they're actually either listening to the CD, listening to the original release, or they're listening to a lip-synced vocal, or they're listening to the track with the lead vocal on the backing track, and the lead vocal is lower in the mix, so you are actually listening to the original release. There's nothing in place for people to know that they're genuinely going to watch something that's live. At festivals, I'm talking about every festival, to my knowledge, and I'm going to have to research this, but to my knowledge, there's no festival that has that authentic vocal seal of approval to say that, when you turn up to watch a live band, they are going to be live. And this is why it is interesting when videos start getting taken down. And I've had that a lot in the past. I could talk about this kind of thing for years, because there's another video which I featured recently where it wasn't a live performance. That particular video is hosted on the original channel. That is still getting, potentially, I know it's in the millions and millions. I think it's about 20 million views the video has had. And even comments on the video that were made yesterday and a few days ago, they're saying, what an amazing live performance. I can't believe this is so good. This has got to be one of the best covers of all time. And other people say, this has got to be the best live version I've ever heard of this particular song. But they don't know it's not live. But in this particular case, the person that did this cover, they messaged me directly and they said, why have you featured this particular video? I don't think it's very nice or in good taste to point out that what I'm doing isn't live. And they say to me in the actual email that they admit that it isn't live. They say, the reason that I re-recorded it and overdubbed it was because we hadn't played it very many times, so there were a few mistakes in there. But I think, and I replied to this person, I said, well, you're more than welcome to come on my channel and explain why you have overdubbed it and that it isn't the original audio or the live audio. But then they didn't reply to that. So I think that you should be honest about it, because they know that they're getting so many views and so many comments from people saying that, oh wow, this is the best live version I've ever heard of this song. but they know it's not live, and they're just letting people assume that what they're hearing is live. So anyway, long story short, I said to the person, and this was months and months ago, maybe it's even last year, I can't remember, but I said to the person, the problem with your video is you state at the beginning that it was live. I said, in YouTube, you can cut out that bit at the beginning of the video. The cover part will start because the live part isn't on the video. It's just, a black and white, white text on a black background. That can be cut out on YouTube. You can edit it easily. And I said, the problem is, and the reason that I've been asked to look at it is because somebody's maybe seen that the bassist is playing something and the bass isn't playing that. We can hear that that's not what the note is. So somebody said, well, can you look into this? And I did, and that's why every video, by the way, on my channel is requested. So they asked me to look into it, and I've just pointed out what's going on. It's not in bad taste. It's not trying to expose someone. It's just pointing out what's going on. And then I've given this suggestion that the reason people are feeling misled is because it says live at the beginning, and you can cut that out easily. And this was, like I said, many months, maybe even last year, that I did the original video. Guess what? The intro is still in there. So it means that the creator, as much as they might be annoyed that I've told people what's going on, if they are genuinely about being honest, they would take out that intro, just the text saying that it's live. But I know why they haven't taken it out. Because of the views. Because you're going to get more views if people think it's the best live cover they've ever seen. Because once you take that live bit out and, it now opens it up to being an overdubbed studio track, it's not as impressive. It might not get the same views. So, yeah, it's in that case, there's been no edit to it. And, people are still saying how amazing it is for a live cover, not knowing that it isn't live. And, that's just the way of it. That's just the way of the internet, really. I can give suggestions to people saying that I think the reason people feel misled is because of this, but then if that particular creator, should I say musician, doesn't want to, it is very much hanging on to the ad revenue. It's like if they are making money from a video, it's getting millions of views, everyone's kind of got a point at which they think, well, I like to be honest, but I don't like to be honest to the detriment of the amount of money that I might be making on that video, or or the amount of exposure they might be getting on a particular video. So it's complicated, but certainly with the last video that I did, that video's now disappeared. On multiple other videos that I've done, videos have disappeared, and that's just the way it is. Whether you see that as an admission of what I'm pointing out being correct, that the video disappears, I would tend to think that's probably an accurate description of what's gone on. But in some cases it might be the fact that copyright has been breached, but it's just interesting that it happens as soon as I make an analysis video, especially when it's in an official capacity, like a video being hosted on someone's channel and they made the video, and then after I do an analysis video, that video on their channel then disappears somewhere. So it's an interesting phenomenon. But anyway, Orlando donated $2. Thank you for that, and said, hello all, it has been a while. Spike the thumbs up, spike the like. So thank you for that. And another donation of $2 by Orlando says, did you watch USA versus Belgium? Thank you for that. Yes, I did see that. And I also saw the controversy with, I don't know what happened, but I think President Trump tried to get FIFA to reverse a red card or something weird. And I think FIFA might have even done something or said something back to President Trump. I don't know how it worked, but the USA very much seemed like a team that were negatively affected by that, because here in the UK it has been reported that the USA team didn't want any involvement by the president, and they want to compete fairly. They don't want somebody in power to say, oh, can you give our team an advantage? So the pundits here said that the USA team have played so much better in the previous matches, and that they'd been negatively affected by, I don't know, being seen as a team that are looking to try and get an advantage, whereas they don't want an advantage. They just want to play football. So yeah, it's a shame that the politics got involved, and yeah, the USA team weren't anything to do with that, but seem to have been negatively affected by it. So I think it'd be exactly the same for the England team. If our Prime Minister tried to get involved, the team would say, no, we don't need your help. We want to play the games and compete as fairly as everyone else is. So yeah, we don't want an advantage. We want to win with our ability and, you know, our skill, and not have to try to change any rules or sidestep any of the regulations. So yeah, it's a shame. USA unfortunately are out of the World Cup now, and yeah, that was all a bit weird. I've never seen that, a president trying to get involved with FIFA, who are the ones who run the World Cup, and they're an independent organisation and body anyway, so nobody should have any influence on any of their decisions. So it's a bit weird that they even, again going back to objectivity, that they even entertain something like that. But anyway, by the way, we have had a vote going on for tonight's cover video, and I can see that it's 5 to midnight here, so we will be jumping into that soon. Miles Away is in the lead with 53% of the vote, and I can see, let me get the likeometer up on screen, because we're at 250 likes, meaning we're looking for 70 more people to have a Phil Jam. So this is going to be a bit of a push for the Phil Jam. That's a lot of people to try and get into the live stream before the end of the time, or the live stream time, which is, let me have a look, about 20 minutes. So hopefully if we can find some people to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, it would be very much appreciated if we could do that, so we can have a jam and bust out the guitar. But let me bring the vote to a close, and we will see what happened. And yeah, it was Miles Away that had 53% of the vote, so we will jump into that. I'll just get the likeometer off the screen so I can jump into a donation that's just come through the super chat window, and it's Wes who has donated $10, so thank you for that. And the message is, the Greek philosophers defeated the German philosophers on a goal, I'm going to move this thing out of the way, on a goal by Socrates, highlights on Monty Python. So thank you for that. And Diane's donated $20, so thank you for that. And the message is, call your family, friends and neighbours, spike the likes. Now YouTube will not let me donate any other way. Hi from Phoenix. So thank you for that. And yeah, good idea. You can ask people to hit the thumbs up, and then yeah, we can bust out the guitar. But yeah, still have a little bit of a ways to go, but we did get a bit of a spike, 267 likes I can see now. Let me get that up on screen. We will jump into my version of Miles Away, the Winger classic. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you after. Rock! Okay, so quick introduction to this next video. This is more of a tribute video to Kip Winger, as I've been to see Kip in London and with his band Winger numerous times, and once I even went to France just to watch Winger. So this is my tribute, and it's me playing and singing Miles Away, and I hope you like it. See you later. Rock!
So this is love, or so you tell me, as you're walking out the door. Months go by, and I know for certain it's not the love I'm looking for. Sometimes, just for a moment, I reach out and hope you're still there. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away.
And there we have it. That was my version of Miles Away by Winger. And just one of those bands that I'm into. And yeah, people might not know who Winger are, or Kip Winger and Red Beach I've mentioned on guitar with his kind of tapping technique, and that was one of their songs, or my cover of one of their songs, called Miles Away. So now, keeping an eye on the likeometer, 2 minutes past midnight, and we are at 287 likes, meaning we're looking for 33 more people to hit the thumbs up in the next 13 minutes. So yeah, we are going to have to go some for the filled jam. But I am starting to think that recently, because we haven't had many full live streams, but jams, filled jams, and things with the World Cup all clashing, maybe we could have a filled jam. We'll try to get to 320, but maybe we can have a filled jam just because we haven't had many live streams. So yeah, we haven't picked up the guitar in a while. But did we reach it last time? We might have. Now this is the problem. It was last Tuesday that was the last live stream? I can't remember. It's a blur. When I'm doing live streams on the laptop, on the Mac Studio, and I lose track of where we are. So yeah, I'm not sure whether we did one last week. So we might just have one anyway. We will see. We are at 290. I mean, 30 people is still quite a lot. I tell you what, let's check the email from Joe. Oh, I say the email. This is over on Patreon. Now, what they've done on Patreon is they've changed the way that it works, the interface a bit. And what's really annoying, and this happened when I did the update for tonight's live stream, I always do a post an hour before the live stream, telling everyone that there's going to be a live stream, and tell me which cover video you want to watch, tell me which original video and song you want to start with. So I always do that an hour before the live stream, but over on Patreon, they've changed the way that things work so that when you click to make a post, it never really says that the post, like before, you used to click, post, and then you'd go to another page and it would show the post. It would then show comments and likes underneath, which is entirely normal. But now you click post and and nothing seemingly changes. Apart from at the top, it then says edit post. So it's always really difficult to know if the post has actually gone through or not. So I checked with about 4 minutes to go, starting the live stream, to see which cover video and which original song people wanted to hear and see. And I then checked and this is the other thing, it's in something called library, where you have to go through your posts to see if it did post, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I realized, it hasn't posted it. So I went through the same process again, posted, and yeah, it means everyone was kind of, even though I did a post an hour before the live stream, it didn't go through, which is really annoying. But the point is that they've now changed the way that it works, and now on the left hand side, where you used to have all of the things listed and you knew where to click, and you knew where to see the kind of list of patrons that I could then add to the live streams to go at the bottom of the screen. All of that was in a particular place, but now it logs me in as a member instead of a creator. So now I have to come out of the membership and go back in as a creator to see everything that I've posted and what's posted and what hasn't posted. So it's just all a bit of a pain. Whenever kind of an interface changes and you're really used to it, now doing it is a bit of a pain. It's going to take a bit of time to get used to it again. But yeah, it's certainly annoying when you do post something and it doesn't post, and then you go back to check the post and realize you got to do it quickly again. So anyway, yeah, always tends to happen. Any kind of update either breaks things, or you've now got to get used to a totally new interface. So right, we are at 299 likes, people. Oh, I was going to go to this message from Dro to see what was going on. And yeah, Phil Jam 336. Yeah, which I have updated for the stream. This, let me see. I'm going to just expand Joe's message, because he sometimes, yeah, we've got the, oh, the time is 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Right, so, well, Destiny has decided that if we are going to have a Phil Jam, it's going to happen now, because this is a long backing track. Right, I tell you what, let's grab the guitar. Even though we're looking for, 20 more people, we've got 7 minutes to get 20 more people to make this an official Phil Jam, rather than one that's kind of against the law. Oh, let me turn that on. Okay, right, that's on. Zoom out as well. And this is, the backing track is on the laptop. So, oh, where's the red dude? There he is. Does it say 1 times? I couldn't see because it blended into my shirt. But yeah, this is coming out the laptop, so it's always a bit dodgy trying to hear it and playing over the top of it. But as long as you hear it fine, then that's what's most important. So yeah, 16 more people. If you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great. But this is gonna be fusion funk rock backing track in B Dorian and B minor. So this comes from Q Jam Tracks on YouTube. I have to get it over here. So yeah, hopefully the levels are okay. There's not a lot that I can do about it because of the way it's set up coming out of the laptop and you hearing my guitar. But yeah, 14 more people. Hit the thumbs up. Let's see, first of all, if I can actually hear this and if you can hear it. Okay. I'm a bit distorted. Right. It's a bit quiet. Can you hear this? I feel like my guitar's too loud. For a little bit of this. see how long this has got left. Oh, like 20 seconds.
You need 5.
I had to try. Once I saw there's only 30 seconds, I had to try and do something to finish things because we didn't have very long left. And then there's a bit of a weird kind of fade out, sudden stop thing going on. Anyway, that was a fusion funk rock backing track in B Dorian and B minor. And we've hit 320 likes for tonight's live stream. So it was an official Phil Jam. And this is from Q Jam Tracks. So thank you, Joe, for sending me the link to this particular video. Thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up to make sure that we did have an official Phil Jam, even though we picked up the guitar before we hit the target. I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow. So look out for that. Another analysis video on Friday as well, and then Sunday. But I won't be live streaming on Saturday night because I will be cheering on England in their World Cup match against Norway. So fingers crossed for that. We'll see what happens, and I'll see you next week. Maybe very happy that England won, or maybe a little bit depressed that they lost, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and hopefully you can join me next week as well, because we'll need every single thumbs up we can get to bust out the guitar and have a Phil Jam. But all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. It is getting crazier day by day, but have a great rest of your week. I won't see you live at the weekend, but I will see you next Tuesday. But next week, tomorrow night's analysis video will still be there. I'll still be making analysis videos as I always do. Even if I disappear for a live stream, there'll still be analysis videos happening 3 times a week as always. So have a great week, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!